Welcome everyone to a prologue episode 1 of a new campaign called Knights and Shining Armor. I am the DM of this campaign, Mr. Nate, one of the knights at the nerd table, and with me tonight playing his prologue character, more on that in a minute, is Mr. Jared Clark, who will be a player of this campaign.
Hey guys, excited to be here. Excited to. This is my first time. This is our first time,
Yeah.
or you DMing for me for the first time.
True. So I have my tips and tricks, but this is not going to be a long intro. We are actually going to get rolling right into it so you, the listener, can enjoy this prologue episode. So, as I like to say at my tables, Mr. Jared, let's tell a story. If you wouldn't mind starting off with giving me a stealth check with advantage, please.
Oh, okay. Well, starting off strong. All right. Stealth check with advantage. That was a natural 1. Oh, my God. All right. Stealth check with advantage. That is just an absolutely dirty 20.
Fantastic. Also, just can you tell me the land in which your character is originally from?
The land he's originally from.
Yes, his home country, his village, or his town, or his region, whatever you prefer. Where's he from?
Well, it depends. You want a name, or you want just me to describe what it looks like?
How about both?
All right. So just to describe or to give you a little bit of background on where he is from a place just called the Wilds. Basically, it is how it sounds, is a wilds. It's very multi-climate-esque. When I say multi-climate, I say there's forests, tall trees, and then long plains. And he's from the plain area of the wilds. And it's very sunny at all times. It is very windy, very dry on the plains. Not desert-esque, but dry.
Nice. It sounds like a beautiful place. It had wonders and marvels and all kinds of scenes. I'm sure the farther you go, it has mountains and valleys on the edge of its world.
Yes.
At one time, it also had heroes, but there are fewer of those these days ever since Ivar came to be. No one knows where he came from, although there are some rumors. Some say he came from the south. Others say he actually arose from the 9 layers of hell itself. But despite the mystery of where he came from, he made why he's here very obvious: to destroy anyone who stakes a claim to justice. The Protectors, the Titans, all of them fell to the blade of Ivar. But then, in the final days of what seemed his crusade, it seems like he vanished. Story goes, while locked in combat with a powerful sorcerer, Darren Dalgor, something happened. Darren Dalgor was a master of manipulation of time and space, and it seemed as if he had a plan even as Ivar approached him. No one knows exactly what happens in the throes of combat, but for whatever reason, Darren emerged from the battle alone. Crowds cheered and cities celebrated, and they did so without Darren. You see, he seemed disturbed at his victory. He left with unresolved feelings and more questions than answers. For weeks, people would catch him just staring off to space, some even muttering to himself, "It doesn't make sense. That's not really how this spell works. A plane transfer like that would take tremendous power, and I didn't set that up. If it came from him, why would he just leave it like that? Why would he just vanish?" And that brings us to today.
Okay.
In a castle, in a land, we hear a voice coming up the stairs to the war room. A dwarf rounds the corner, and his voice seems flustered, but there's no panic in his eyes. Instead, he draws his weapon and turns to face the door. It is barred shut by 2 other dwarves of similar appearance. A king calls out to him, "Where did this evil come from?" The dwarf responds, "Unsure, my king. Our early reports note extremely powerful conjuration magic earlier today. Most likely a plane shift spell of some kind." Ah, yes, a plane shift. Remarkable things those are. The ability to step from one realm of an existence to another. As Ivar was locked in the throes of combat, he was transported to another realm, a whole new realm, to a new world with new heroes. Heroes that needed to be put in their place. It did not take long at all for him to learn he was in the city of Mitorah, Mitorah, capital of the kingdom of Legasis. And the king there was a strong and mighty warrior. For this was not a land where kings sit and get fat on their thrones and gluttonous sloth. No, this kingdom was built on strength. The strength of a king's love for his people. The strength of a king who has lost much but never sought revenge, only justice. Yes, he is the first obstacle in your new way to achieving your goal in this realm, to rid it of its so-called heroes. What seemed at first like a mistake that brought you here turned out to be a blessing. This realm has so many of those who call themselves heroes, but so far, everyone you've encountered has proven to be too weak, all too weak to protect the ones that they loved. Even now, some who call themselves heroes prepare themselves for you, but their resistance is futile. And yet, here they are. Here they try. These 4 heroes have been called the 4 dwarfsmen of the apocalypse. They stand in the king's private war room, high ceilings with long, thick wooden rafter beams running across. In this room, there are 2 windows on each side, and in the center of the room is a large table with a map of the kingdom, war lines drawn all over it, several chairs around it. And to the north and south walls, on them you see portraits of former kings, kings of years past. A fireplace lies on the south side, lighting the mostly dark room as night has fallen. Few torches on the side as well. And while the door that has just been shut is on the north wall, facing that door, about 10 feet from it, are 2 of the dwarves ready for combat. And the king stands behind the table. He's accompanied by 2 more dwarfs. He stands tall, and rightfully so, as he's clearly of Goliath descent. And Mr. Jared, Ivar can see all of this because he's already in the room. Tell me, how does Ivar make his appearance?
A voice erupts from the shadows. Deep, growly, almost like pain, but also resolve falls upon his voice as he says, I swore an oath by life, and only silence came as my people screamed. Call me oath breaker, for I will cut down every one of you until the screaming ends with silence, as a battle axe comes flying from the shadows, hopefully hitting one of the dwarfs by the door.
One of the dwarfs by the door. All right, go ahead and roll initiative. We will count this as your surprise round.
Ooh, all right, that is a 13.
13. All right.
Let's get it. I'm excited. Ooh.
Get excited. All right. A 13 punition, and roll an attack on one of the dwarves by the door.
Yes, sir. Roll attack. All right. That is a 27 to hit.
Definitely hits. Roll damage.
Would love to. Would absolutely love to. That is 13 points of damage.
Yikes. A great surprise hit as the dwarf absolutely surprised as a axe comes flying to the back of his head. At what point, as your presence fills the room, about where do you make a foothold?
I step out. So there's the table, and then there's the 2 doors by the door, the 2 dwarves, and the king. I step out in between the 2 of them next to the table.
In between the 2 of them, almost as, of course, we didn't check underneath the table. What fools we were. A so obvious hiding place. An axe comes out as you stand in between them. They turn to face you, and as they do, they will make a couple attacks against you. You have no idea the kind of trouble you're in. Me and my brothers are about to take you to a place that nobody can recover from. All right, Crank, let's beat the crud out of this fella. And he's going to make an attack roll. And he is going to crit for a total of 26. He is going to do 5 points of damage.
Good to know. All right.
He starts swinging around 2 small light hammers, typically used for range weapon, but for some reason he wields him in his hand. He will also make his second attack, and that will be a 17 to hit.
17 doesn't hit.
He swings a simple sidestep. Sure, he got in one lucky shot, but it's go time. This realm just feels a little stiffer than usual. It's fine. So he will bonus action rage. As his attack misses, he will rage.
Ooh.
And that brings us to the dwarf on the opposite side of you. He reaches for his great axe and tries to bring it down over across your head. He will make an attack roll as well, and that will be a 23 to hit.
23 does hit.
All right. So he's going to roll damage on that.
Oh, this is intense, man.
He's going to do 14 points of damage on that.
Yes, 14. Oh my gosh, 14. All right.
That brings us to, that is Bank's turn, and that is Spank's turn. And that brings us to the fourth and youngest of the dwarf brothers, Marcus. And he will begin to simply step in front of the king, and he is going to start twirling a flail, ready to make an attack if needed, but he's going to hold his action until a specific event here. And that brings us to your turn.
All right. Let's have a little fun. So, who is the closest person toward me?
The two, Bank and Spank, are closest to you.
Bank and Spank. All right. I like it. Let's do this.
Bank is on your immediate left. He's the one who hit you with a light hammer. And on your right is the guy who hit you with a great axe, the dwarf.
So I will turn and draw my longsword from the sheath as it scrapes from the sheath, being jagged, more serrated than sharp, and from many a fights. And I will ignite a smite as I bring down, but it's not any normal smite. It's not this radiant energy. It's this black smoke that almost like melts off the sword as I swing it down, and does. Ooh, let's do this. I'm excited. Okay, perfect. Does a 21 hit?
Absolutely.
Okay, so 21 hits. I drop a first level smite with my Aura of Hate active, which gives me +3 to any damage rolls. It does 41 points of damage, 13 of which is necrotic from my smite.
You absolutely bring your sword down, and the blade goes... Actually, what am I doing? I'm a fool. How would you like to do this?
Ooh. I will, as he swings at me, and it hits me, because he's the one that hit me, right?
Correct.
It hits me. I leave the sword in me, and I hold, or whatever weapon he has, I hold his arm, and then I just bring the sword in and stab, and as I stab, it releases the necrotic energy into him. Oh
my gosh. And he drops to the ground.
Let's do this. I'm ready for my second attack. No, we're just beginning, baby. We're just getting started. Yeah, it feels good to be back in the pocket, you know?
Mm-hmm. Get in the pocket. Get in the pocket.
Just get back in the pocket. When I drew the sword, I activate my shield, my animated shield. and several ethereal versions of my sword begin floating around me. And that will be my turn. I don't have a second attack. Actually, no, I do have a second attack. I'm going to use my second attack. What am I, an idiot? Obviously, I'm going to use it. 13 plus 9, that is 22.
22 definitely hits.
No. Yeah. Someone's going to let me know in the comments if that math is right or wrong.
Yeah. Oh, they will.
They will. I'm going to get blasted for my math during this campaign. That is so 22 hits. And then damage-wise, let's do this. It is 19 points of slashing damage plus the 2d6 from the Mind Blade, which is another 8 points of psychic damage. 3 points of just sheer hate damage.
Just hate you.
Just an absolute hate you damage. And I'll do another first level smite in there. Just gonna see if I can clear the way. So another 2d8. That is 7 points of necrotic damage.
Jeez, the cracker.
37 points of damage.
Yep, that hurt. That hurt a lot. Sure did. Yep.
Sure did.
One of the dwarves sees his fallen brother, and he is going to unleash his held action. And he will reach out towards you, and he is going to cast. He's going to hit you with an eldritch, or attempt to hit you with an eldritch blast.
Ooh, eldritch blast.
It's going to be a 13 to hit.
Does not hit.
And he's shaken. He's emotionally a wreck. He just saw his brother fall for the first time, and so that is his held action. Is that the end of your turn?
That is the end of my turn.
All right. The second dwarf by the king is going to look, and he is going to also very, very, very distraught. He sees you, and he steps in front of the king as well, and just tries to lock onto you. He does not want you to stay out of his sight, and he points towards you, and a beam of energy flows through the end of his hand and almost like latches onto you as he catches Witch Bolt on you.
Ooh.
So he will make a ranged spell attack here.
Okay.
Does a 21 hit?
The 21 does hit.
Fantastic. So he's going to do some, hopefully, he's going to try to do some damage. We'll see how this goes. Not bad for him. He is going to do 9 points of necrotic damage to you. Oh, no, sorry,
Okay,
lightning
damage. On his hit, I point my finger at him and say, "You know nothing of pain," and I cast Hellish Rebuke
Okay.
as my reaction.
Go for it.
He has to make a dex save.
Okay.
It's to do a dex save.
Ooh, 4.
4, he fails and he didn't get a 15, and he takes 11 points of fire damage.
All right. As he latches out to you with his bolt, you take the damage, lash out to him. And then, as a reaction, he takes it and begins to take that energy and funnel it to his left hand and lashes back out to you. And he will also cast Hellish Rebuke.
I like it.
As a reaction and not a spell. So don't at me in the comments for it.
Don't at me.
So go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw.
Dexterity saving? I would love to. I'm a little nervous here. Ooh, that is not good. Dexterity saving throw. That is a 9.
That is definitely a failure, so you'll take 14 points of that back to you of fire damage. Hot dice for the dwarf.
Hot dice.
Brings us to the top of the round. Bank will make a death save, and he will fail.
Porter. DM.
Yes, sir.
We get to use legendary actions, correct?
Oh, you're a
As
bad guy,
villains.
so yeah.
When would be the proper time to use, or when can I use my legendary
You can
action?
use your
for those
legendary
who don't
action
know?
at the end of a player's turn.
Gotcha. Okay, good to know. Thank you.
So that is the end of Crank's turn. Skipping over
As
Bank with the death
my
save.
first legendary action at the end of his turn, why not go big?
Why not?
Knives Out.
Knives Out. What is this legendary
So
action?
as I think to myself, it's fun when they team up. It makes it a bit more of a challenge, but only a little bit. As I lift my hands up, as this black smoldering smoke appears off my hands, these ethereal black daggers appear behind each person I can see within 30 feet of me.
That includes everyone, including the king, who has yet to do anything.
Good. I need them to make a dex saving throw.
Yikes. Yikes. What's the DC we're trying to beat?
The DC is, let me get to it. DC is 15.
All right. Svank does pass. Marcus does not. Crank does not. The king, who's named King Leonin, does pass.
King Leonin does pass. Perfect. So, those who, even if they do pass, they are knocked prone.
Ooh.
So they're knocked to the floor. Now, if they don't pass, they take full damage. 3d8. So,
Gosh,
with that being said, as the knives appear, they begin to elongate into swords.
Oh, man.
And they begin to jet towards people who failed, and they take 3d8.
Oh, my gosh. Roll it up.
Oh, yeah. It's game time, baby. Oh, man, that was not good. That was not good at all. All right, hey, dice roll the way they roll. That is 11 points of piercing damage.
11 points of piercing damage that Svank takes.
So, yeah, that's my legendary action.
Not bad. That does bring us to Svank's turn. Elongated knives stab him in the back. Not sure what to do or how to act, how to react. He, who was not knocked prone, takes a raging swing at you with his axe. He is going to do it as a frenzy as well. So first of all, he's coming in hot. He's taking an attack. One swing. 23 to hit.
Yes, that hits.
Hit you for 10 points of damage.
Okay.
And then he's going to make his second attack. Does a 17 hit?
A 17 does not hit.
All right. As a bonus action, he's going to take his frenzy attack. That's another 17. So
No.
he swings, hits, swings, and swings. And just whiffing, just absolutely enraged at what he's seen, and he looks hurt. He looks tired. He looks worn. He does not look good.
I think I'm just sidestepping and then parrying it, just casually parrying his swings out of the way.
That brings us to Marcus's turn, who's basically like he's got to use all his movements to stand up, and he's going to turn to rush to the king to help him stand up. Which, honestly, that's what he's going to do for his whole turn.
Okay.
Oh, actually, he is going to cast Mage Armor on himself as he's getting a bit worried. So that brings us to your turn.
All right. Let's have a little fun. I'll do this. I will look at them and I'll say, as now they're all next to the king, right? There's no one behind.
There's Svank is looking real hurt. He's right next to you, but he's looking very hurt. And then the other two dwarves, one is knocked prone still, and the other one's trying to help the king up.
And how close are they to me?
They are across the table. The ones with the king are across the table for you, and the table's about 10 feet in width, which is kind of how the room is set up. So
so 10 feet away, maybe?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, this is almost perfect. I will look at them And as I take my hand, or still the sword in my hand, I see my axe still in Fank behind me. I will, grabbing onto the axe as a free action, pull it from him.
Oh.
And then I will lick some of the blood off the axe and dumping all of my lay on hands into my body.
Nice.
And as I pull my axe from him, I look at everybody and I say, no army, no nation, no savior, nor god or deity you might believe in came when I needed them most. None will come for you now. And I will use Daunting Roar.
Oh my gosh.
And they all need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, yikes.
Or Wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw. These are a fat stack of barbarian dwarves. So I do not expect this to go well. That's an 8 from Schwank.
Okay.
That's not too bad. There's a 7 from Marcus. Crank is the smartest. And he got an 18. And then the king, not too bad, got a 10.
So all but the smartest are now frightened of me.
Oh dear.
So they cannot move any closer to me.
The king begins to panic. The only exit is between. You stand between the only exit in this room. Svank also starts breathing very heavily and begins to look towards the door that he's a few feet away. Marcus does seem like unfazed by this attempt. However, Crank is also on the ground still, and he begins to panic, and anxiety sets in and overwhelms him as he just kind of rolls under the table. Is that all you got?
That is all that I got. Now, question. At the end of my turn, do I get my legendary actions back?
So you'll get your legendary actions back at the top of the round. That will reset. So Bank is actually first in the initiative order. He's the guy who's down right now. So as he's down, when I come back around to him, which will be soon, your legendary actions reset.
Good to know.
Back to like 0 out of the 3 points you can spend. So that does bring us to Crank, who is terrified, and he just starts heading towards one of the windows. He gets about to the window and busts it open and just kind of looks out. Right now, he's torn between the fear of you and the fear of the several feet of falling he would take if he were to leap from the window. So right there is all of his movement. I believe at the end of his turn, he makes another wisdom, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Still real scared. That brings us to the king's turn, who starts to move towards him. He sees one of his trusty, loyal guards moving away from him, so he just kind of follows him. At the end of his turn, he will make another wisdom saving throw. Oh, that's not too bad. That is a 17.
Yeah, passes.
So he gets to the end and kind of holds on to his little dwarf buddy, trying to keep him from jumping out of the window. As you can see, it's right on the edge. That brings us to Bank, who will roll another death saving throw and fail. That brings us to Svank, who joins. He starts moving. He moves about 10 feet to the door right next to you. He's going to move out of your range, giving you an attack of opportunity.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Is it top of initiative yet? I'm sorry.
It is. Yes, the legendary actions have reset for him. This is but this is just a free attack of opportunity you can take.
Gotcha. They run. They always run. Cowards. Every last one of them. As I use a legendary action, Coward's Consequence, and I succeed on my hit, regardless. Or my hit when it comes to the disengage. Or attack of opportunity as my legendary action. So what my legendary action does, I'll read it for you guys. But whenever an opponent would incur an attack of opportunity of yours, you may spend a legendary action to guarantee a hit success. This ability overrides any disengage or any such abilities that might be at play. So,
Nice.
without rolling to hit, I'm using my legendary action to hit him as he tries to pass me.
Roll that damage, that sweet, sweet damage.
That's sweet.
As he,
sweet
I would even
damage.
say, stumble clumsily away from you in an attempt to flee.
Ooh, this is good. This is really good. 18 points of damage.
Sheesh.
As he tries to go by, and it's just slash and almost tendrils, these ethereal tendrils from the blade, almost like mind flare tendrils, latch onto him from my sword.
Tell me how he falls forward.
Basically, as I slash, and the tendrils enter his body, they go through his nose, into his eyes, through his ears, and grip hold as you see his life leave his body as he falls to the side next to me.
Well, that brings us to Marcus's turn. As he's seen yet another brother fall, he is gonna try to get a control of this situation. This has gone worse than any battle that they've ever had before. So he's going to try to cast Hold Person on you.
Ooh, saving throw. I'm a paladin. I forgot. We're fine. That is a 22.
That definitely beats it. So it fails. He is going to, that's his action. He's going to, as a bonus action, look at you and say, "You're not the only one who can turn into a monster." And he grows. And his arms get a weird, long form. And he doesn't grow to the size of a man, but if you were to take a man and stretch his arms longer than what they should be, to increase his legs farther out than what they should be. His beard, hair just starts to just frenzy out, and he is now in a form of dread.
Oh.
You get a few temp hit points there. The little homie will. And then,
little homie?
The little homie. And then that will be the end of his turn, which brings us back to your turn.
All right. Let's just have fun. You know,
that's why we're here.
That's why we're here. I'm checking one thing. Good. All right. The guy next to me, he's still hurt, right, Frank? He's still very hurt.
Nope, he's dead. The two guys next to you are down. There is Marcus across the table from you, and and Crank, who is by the window with King Leonin.
So the dreadful form. I will look at him, and I will point my finger, and I say, you have only just begun to know madness," as I cast Crown of Madness on him. And so I need him to make a wisdom saving throw.
That's an 8. Clearly shaken as the form of his two brothers fallen behind you as you cast this spell is too much for him to bear. And he fails.
So, Crown of Madness, for those of you who don't know, one humanoid of your choice that you see within range must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or become charmed by you for the duration. While the target is charmed in this way, a twisted crown of jagged iron appears on their head, and it glows with madness as their eyes begin to become inflamed. The charmed target must use its action before moving on each of its turns to make a melee attack against a creature other than itself that you mentally choose. The target can act normally on its turn if you choose, if I choose no creatures, or if none are within reach. Turns, you must use your action to maintain control over target, or the spell ends. Also, the target can make a saving throw or wisdom saving throw at the beginning of each of his turns to pass, or to get the spell end. So, As that happens, and as the crown appears above his head, I will begin moving towards the door, saying to them, I prayed to God for strength. The only answer was pain. Our people screamed for salvation. The only answer was pain and silence. I prayed for guidance and begged for death. I was answered with pain. I shall answer that pain in kind. All that I have left to offer is pain and death. Kill them, and I walk out of the room.
Gosh, so you walk out of the room. This is what is happening. Crank, overcome with fear, uses his movement to attempt to leap out of the window. The king tries to stop him. He is not strong enough, and one of his beloved friends falls as he looks over the edge of the window, unknowing that behind him, Marcus begins to pick up speed from quick, short trot to a full sprint. He follows your commands and runs into the king standing by the window. Here's what I'm going to do. I got a dwarf in a full sprint up against a Goliath.
Come on now. Knock him out of the window or something.
There's just enough speed to push the king out of the window as he grabs hold of him. They both fall several feet. Let me roll some fall damage real quick.
Oh yeah, fall damage. It'll get you if you're not paying attention.
You're not paying attention, it'll get you.
If you try to wild shape into a goldfish, try to jump off a cliff, it ain't gonna end well for you. It's just a little Easter egg for you people.
So Crank falls to his death. Marcus falls to his death. The king of this realm lies on the ground, barely moving, but he does live. You approach the door that was barred. You open it. As you open it, as if the timing of fate couldn't write a more perfect turn of events. The doors open. The two dead, lifeless dwarf bodies on either side of you. And you see another dwarf. This one a bit older. This one with scars all over his face. He looks old, but he doesn't look worn. He looks like a man or a dwarf who's seen more challenges than anyone. And he's probably succeeded in those challenges. He looks down. What did you do to my boys? Do you know what this is? As he pulls out a great axe. This is the vicious great axe of my forefathers. And now I'll use it to send you to wherever you try to send my boys. And he will make an attack at you.
Perfect. I love this. Oh my god.
That is a dirty 20 to hit.
Tie goes to roller. So there it is.
That is going to be 17 points of damage.
That's a big hit.
That is a big hit. And now he'll make his second attack.
Oh no. No.
Does a 24 hit?
Yes, it does.
Rolling up damage again. 10 points of damage.
Oh.
How you looking, bud?
Real close. real close. Oh no.
That's great. As he looks at you, takes 2 slashes, crack, crack. It's not even as if he's slashing into you. It's the blunt force trauma of his axe against your armor.
Yeah.
He sees his boys lying on the ground. The dwarf lord Tank, or Tankard as he's known, on documents,
Tankard, okay. Right.
will make his frenzied attack as his bonus action.
Oh, no.
And he crits.
Oh, my God.
So on his 20, he will give you an extra 7 points of damage on top of that'll be 18 points of damage.
I fall.
He screams in a rage as you fall. Slowly, darkness covers your eyes. You just hear the voice of a broken dwarven father weeping over the bodies of his boys. The dwarf Lord Tankard is one of the strongest foes in this kingdom, or at least he was, before retiring and passing on his duties to his sons.
Oh no, the ones I just absolutely wrecked. Oh God.
He would keep this kingdom safe, if not. But for a few hours later, he dies simply of a broken heart. When you take everything and there's nothing left to live for, a man who experienced that much loss in one day, or a dwarf rather, has no reason to live. Over the next few days, hours, weeks, minutes, seconds, you can't tell, you fall in and out of consciousness. It's like a haze. You know that dwarf must have been strong. You see guards dragging you and holding you and in and out again. It's cold, and then maybe the smells are different, and it's almost like a sea air, and then a cold, damp air that has seen no freshness in quite some time. You come to just for a moment, just to feel a guard grab your arm, and all you can feel is searing, burning pain as they press something into your forearm, and you pass out yet again. Again, you awake. This time, you're lying down. Your eyes come open, and your body aches. You lift your head. You're in a small, dark room. There are 3 walls of rock and stone and 1 of iron bars. You look up and you see another figure sitting on a bed only 6 feet away from you. He's an old man, and he's just staring at you.
Where am I?
You don't have any idea where are you, do you? Son, this is the Warden's Isle, the Forsaken Keep. You must have done something pretty bad to get into here, but it doesn't really matter, because that doesn't mean anything. Because if you're in here, that means you're never getting out. This here's the royal prison of Bardock, and I don't know how old you are, but you'll be living out the rest of your days here. And that is where we will end this prologue session.
Ooh, baby, I'm excited about
This session was called Enter Ivar, and it is the introduction of the character or villain Jared will be playing in this campaign. And that was good.
I love it. I'm excited.
That was fun.
Wow. Okay. I almost died. There is twice I almost died.
Yep.
That those